Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And here's a quick word from our sponsor. Pumpkin Spice, an all-new take on a classic chai. Robust and seasonal
Van Halen's
with organic black tea,
just witnessing
ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and real pumpkin.
What to do?
The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hi there, I'm Tristina.
And I'm Ryan, and we're Grimiss.
Hello. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let's go ahead and get to know y'all individually a little bit. Tristina, why don't we start with you?
Sounds good.
Tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, what got you into music.
Well, I was born and raised in Salem. I'm a little bit on the older side, so I have a history with watching MTV as a little one, standing up on the coffee table and jumping every time Van Halen's Jump would come on, and just witnessing all of that. I knew that that's something that I wanted to do, not specifically the jump part, but just sing. I was obsessed with music. Instead of watching Saturday morning cartoons like most of my friends, I would watch music videos. That was my jam. And started I think the first time I performed on stage I was 6. And then did vocal competitions, and then finally did bands within my 20s and haven't looked back.
Yeah, so you were just in it.
I was in it.
Oh yeah. What was your household musical, or are you the first generation of musician?
I think my great grandfather was a drummer.
So just skipped a group of generations.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until a few years ago. I had no idea that there were any musicians in our family. So really, I think I was the first as far as most of our knowledge goes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Ryan, what about you?
Well, I grew up just the typical Midwestern suburban white boy. Grew up in Ohio and Pennsylvania till my mid-20s, and moved out to Colorado for about 7 years, then came out here to Oregon. I did not have a very musical upbringing at all. And, I grew up with the 90s MTV, grunge alternative thing, which when I was 10 years old was the coolest thing ever. And then by the late 90s, it really wasn't that cool anymore. And, I didn't want to listen to Korn and Papa Roach, so...
But they were the voice of a new generation.
Yeah, things got pretty bad, and then...
But POD wasn't one of your favorite bands?
My dad listened to them.
Yeah, so then I got into the 90s skate punk thing. And then my late teens, my brother had this old guitar that he played for about 2 weeks as a teenager, and then stuck in a closet. And when I was 18, I decided to dig that out of the closet and start playing it. And it felt good, so I kept doing it. And then that's when I started actually getting into music, I guess. So I was kind of late to the game, but I think it's kind of kept me a little more open-minded, maybe, because I'm not I only listen to the stuff I was into when I was 16. That's my music. It's just I'm still discovering stuff all the time. It's not even necessarily new stuff. I'm still...
Well, it's new to you.
Yeah, new to me, but...
I haven't seen it. It's new to me.
Yeah, so it's... I took to it pretty obsessively once I got into it. So
You caught up.
yeah. I think I've caught up by now.
Oh yeah. And how did you two meet initially?
Good old Craigslist.
Ah.
Yeah, I was there was a moment in time where I swore off music a little bit because of a bad band experience and then knew I couldn't stay away from it. So when I moved to Portland, I joined a band and worked with a guitarist within it for probably a good 6 months before he moved back to California. And then I was like, well, shit, like I want to keep going with this and we need a guitarist. So put out the ad and he answered it. And what initially drew me to him was the fact that I can't even remember how it went, but I was like, well, if this sounds good to you, or alternatively, you could tell me to fuck off. And it was something like, well, I'm still going, I would love to move forward, but I reserve the right to tell you to fuck off at a later time. And I was like, I like this guy.
Fortunately, that hasn't come up yet, so.
Yeah.
Still got that one in the bank though, so just keep that in mind.
Hold on to that.
That's contractually binding.
Yeah, every renewal, you're like, yep, check the bar. Yep.
But we were in that for a good...
I think it was about 3 years.
3 years. Then we decided to branch off because...
Yeah, things weren't really progressing with that band, and then, I don't know, they kind of... At least one member was like, she wanted to try out for a second band, and he was like, oh no, you can't do that. And
oh no,
that was kind of the end of that chapter.
Also, what? Playing as many bands as you want.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, I'm...
Like if you're not doing like nationwide tours, it should...
Yeah, if you're just some Craigslist band playing the local music scene, there's no need to try and take things that seriously at that point.
Like, things are stagnant. We've been trying to write. We've written, like the two of us wrote 2 or 3 songs and brought them to the band and they fell flat. So it was like, I need something to do. Otherwise, I'm going to go nuts. I am going to go crazy if I'm not productive within this. I need to progress. And once again, that's when we're like, well, maybe we can accomplish more as a 2-piece than we can.
That was also right about when the pandemic happened, so that kind of, I mean, it kind of worked out. That was the transition phase, that like the whole time we weren't able to gig was kind of when we were working on the new material. So
I mean, I guess the pandemic was the best time to write.
Yeah,
really was.
It was hard. It was hard though, because it's like, well, I'm writing all this. Am I ever going to get to play it?
Yeah. That the no end in sight clause at the beginning of it, you were just like, is this what we live like now?
We just have to be an internet band. We're not good at that.
No, man. That's a whole different experience for sure.
Well, and a lot of people did take advantage of that time, and they still, made videos or did live performances. But both of us, we're just not. We're not wired like that.
No, I'm very much in the same. I think we grew up in kind of similar music.
We're old school. We need people in front of us.
Yeah, be on the stage, hear the sound, drink the shitty free beer. Like it's all part of the process. Oh yeah. And now we've got one more foundationary question, and this one's kind of baked into the continuity of the show. So we'll have you answer individually again, but we'll start with you this time, Ryan. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
We just talked about this yesterday. So in 6th grade, I came in 2nd in the math Olympics, and I got a gift certificate to Borders bookstore.
Ooh, shout out Borders. We miss you.
And I bought Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine and Undertow by Tool.
Okay.
Those were my first 2 albums.
How old were you?
6th grade. I had listened to I have 2 older brothers, so they were the ones buying.
Cool music taste for a 6th grade.
They were the ones buying all the CDs all the time. That was the first time I was like, I finally get to buy some CDs.
I was the oldest, so I didn't have... Well, I mean, my dad got me into prog rock, so I can thank him for that. But I don't know what grade I was in. It was either 94 or 95. And I remember, I don't even know how I got the money. I didn't get a gift certificate from what it was in math.
Math Olympics, baby.
I was almost in a spelling bee, whatever. But I walked into Sam Goody and picked up some Blind Melon and Coolio.
Hell yeah.
Those were,
Yeah, so we are so 90s in our upbringing, but I mean not now, but just like if you listen to the 4 albums, Blind Melon, Coolio, Rage Against the Machine, and Tool, like that's pretty fucking 90s right there.
Yeah.
That's like an MTV Buzz Clip commercial right there.
You know, we're going to make it even a little more meta. The last episode that would have just happened before yours, one of the questions I ask in individual ones is, what was like one of the earliest songs you remember hearing? They said Gangster's Paradise.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
that definitely is not the earliest
We're way
song.
older than that.
But that's awesome.
I just thought it was cool. I was like, Coolio twice in a row.
I'm pretty sure I was told that I was conceived to Genesis. So that's been my jam since I can remember.
I feel like there's probably a whole generation of people that were.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure. For sure.
That was a different time completely.
Well, when they're playing on the radio every 3 songs, I mean, of course.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. They didn't have Netflix back then.
Genesis and Chill.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Genesis and Grind. Hey.
That needs to be a bumper sticker that only I will own.
I think you could make those. Those exist. But all right, let's go ahead and let's get to know the band here and now. And we're going to get the super easy one out of the way. How'd y'all pick the name?
I don't remember entirely. I think I thought of the McDonald's guy originally, and I thought it would be a funny name.
So he proposed it to me with 2 M's, and I was like, I'm fine with that, but it has to have a single M. I'm very, like, I'm not going to bend on this. He didn't give a shit.
It's like, whatever.
And then I went and Googled it. And the Urban Dictionary definition popped up.
Oh, boy.
And from that point, I knew, I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. Because, God, it was, so Grimiss is the face that you make when
It's like when you
someone is giving you a blowjob and they stop right before you come.
make a grimace.
And I was like, that's it. That's our name.
Yeah. And then like 2 years into it, she realized that it has the same amount of letters and starts with and ends with the same letters as Genesis, and she spazzed out.
Yeah, I freaked out for a solid 45 minutes. I was like, wow, the universe, everything aligned. It was amazing. This is meant to be.
Right? You're going to just have to get the rights to their font.
Yeah, if we had that double M, it wouldn't have...
It wouldn't have worked. See? See?
Then would have just been Grimiss.
Well, that was my thought with the double M, but she was like, no, just one M. It's better.
I mean, if you're not competing with another band with the same name.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, I think, a band in Michigan in like 2010 that had it spelled the way we do, but...
There was like a weird capital letter somewhere...
Yeah, punctuation is important. So we're
It was like Grimace, but then the last S was capitalized, and I'm like, why?
we didn't do that. So we're a different band.
Yeah, capital S. What?
See you in court.
There's 2 at the end.
See you in court, Grimace with the capital S.
I've always wanted to have a band name that didn't have a certain letter in it, but I always wanted to be like, yeah, it's Jackal with a capital H. And you're like, where's the H?
Oh my God!
Wherever you want. It's not in the name.
Just above it. That's our logo.
All right, now let's go ahead and let's get into your writing process, because obviously it's more than just an individual person experience. Do you do it collaboratively? Does like one person go and then come and then like other person goes and has their own? Like, how do you all go about getting a track started?
I write everything.
Okay.
No, I'm just I'm joking. I'm completely joking.
Well, usually it starts with guitar. I mean, I'll just play guitar until something catches my ear and then build off of that. And sometimes she works out a lot of stuff on her own. She'll come up with vocal lines and melodies, and a lot of times she'll basically have a song that's got a verse and a chorus and a bridge worked out. And then I will kind of write things that I think go with that, and then we'll try and fill in the gaps to connect everything, and then we'll come up with an arrangement and give it to her, and then she usually completely changes all the stuff that I wrote to on top of what I did, and we come out with an end result.
Well, I think you made it sound a lot worse than it is.
It's not a bad thing. It's just interesting because I'm always like, all right, I wrote this song to this track she sent me, and then I send her the track, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna change all the stuff I did.
Well, it works the same way the other way around. Like he'll write something with, like he'll think, oh, this is the spot where the verse should go, and this is the spot where the chorus should go, and he sends it to me without telling me that, and I'm glad that you don't. And I'll listen to it, and I'll be like, okay, this is where the verse needs to pop up, and this is where the chorus needs to be, and I'll send it back to him, and he's like, but it works.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a song.
Yeah, it's all about, like, for me, it's all about how it makes me feel, and like where the vocals bubble up out of my throat. Like I can't stop that from happening, you know?
No, totally. And I mean, like vocals in particular, such like an abstract expression instrument. Like, you know, guitars kind of get the like stringed instruments in general follows a certain type of rules, like drums follows. But like with vocals, it's like you can say 18 things 18 different ways and have them mean 18 different things. So it's a different, almost like dichotomy of instrument experience.
It works that way too, because a lot of times I'll get a song and I'm like, okay, here's the melody line. Here's a different melody line. Here's a different melody line. Oh shit, which one am I going to go with? Like,
all of them.
Yeah. Sometimes I do. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do the first two verses like this, and then I'll do something completely different the third verse.
Yeah.
Well, the first two bands I was in didn't even have vocals, so like I came from kind of like an avant-garde instrumental area, so I don't typically write music the way most people would for someone to write lyrics on top of. Yeah. She just kind of has to
figure it out.
Yeah, and she does it.
You sing the song and a decoder ring. Like you have to hold this at the first full moon.
There have definitely been moments where I'm just like, because I'm not, you know, as far as music theory is concerned, I have no fucking idea.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
He'll send me, and I think it's, once again, and I've mentioned this before, I think it's part of the prog rock background too, just listening to that over and over again. And, you know, it's not a straightforward shot when you're writing, you know, to...
No, I don't do a lot of chord strumming for you to sing on top of.
Yeah. So there have been moments definitely where I've listened to something and I'm like counting out how many syllables I can use. Like, you know.
He's over there pulling out a calculator. Like, are we doing math rock now?
Like,
what's happening here?
Well,
he really won that math competition.
I guess that does tie in, doesn't it?
Hell yeah. And then when y'all are writing, when y'all are like putting together songs, do you ever like aim for like a certain emotion or like try to convey any like type of message, or do you really just kind of let the music happen?
I mean, I can answer that as far as the vocals are concerned. It definitely it's all emotionally stemmed. Like, once again, like I said, it's how the music makes me feel. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a song called Broken, which will be on the album. And when I listened to it, I was just like, wow, this just sounds like someone got their heart pulled out and stomped on, and they want to pick up their heart and shove it down their ex's throat and make them choke on it. And that's where I wrote from.
It's very specific, yes.
And, you know, some songs I'm like, oh, this just oozes sexuality and this is where I want to go. Or, oh, this makes me want to actually open up and divulge the most intimate details about myself and, you know, past relationships. Or
yeah, you have you have a much more visceral response to our music. I'm just like, well, our last song was kind of slow, so I need to write a faster one. Our last one didn't have any heavy riffs, so I need to write some heavy riffs on the next one.
Yeah. I think that's our strength, is our balance in the whole entire process. Like, no matter what, you come from one side of the spectrum and I come from the other, and we meet each other in the middle perfectly.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because that ties into this next question perfectly. How do you handle creative differences? I guess when you've been writing together.
We have like creative differences. Sometimes it's just like, I think this part could go shorter or longer, or I'm like, I think you could sing on this part where you didn't sing. But it's never just like, oh, what you did there doesn't sound good. Or
I think in the how many years have we been writing together? Since like 2000.
I don't remember.
18?
It's been like 6 years, something like that.
So I think the entire time that we've written with each other, there have only been about 4 instances where one of us has been like, well, I don't know if we really need it doubled up there. And then both of us get butthurt.
Yeah. I'm just like, no, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then a day later, I'm like, yeah, you were right.
Yeah. And it always works out that way. The 4 times that it's happened, both of us have been like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you.
I think that's a pretty appropriate testament to like the compatibility then, because that was how in my old band Smooth Talk, me and my guitar player it was never like hey, I have this side. Oh, I have this side. It was just, here's a thought. Cool, like this. All right, cool. What about this?
Yeah.
That, like, sometimes the other person just knows what you're looking for, because what you're looking for is kind of what they do anyway.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how this works. And I've never experienced it in my life with any person that I've written with prior to him.
I think there's just enough of a mutual respect and appreciation. We both know, like, I know I can't do what she does, can't even come fucking close to it.
I mean, I can't.
Like, she doesn't
I don't play
instruments, so that makes it a little difficult to write music.
Yeah, and that leads me into my next question. And this is a pretty specific to y'all one, because it's just vocals and guitar. And I guess, backing tracks with with percussion and such. What is that a choice? Is it just you can't find a drummer? What made you want to go with the duo approach?
It was definitely a choice.
Yeah, like we said, we were in a band,
a 4-piece
for about 3 years, and it just we always felt like we were working towards something that we weren't reaching.
Mm-hmm.
And since we started doing this, it's just like there's no limit. There's nothing. We can do whatever we feel like doing. We have a cover of Susudio by Phil Collins. We do. And it's just like there's no band I've ever been in before would ever have been able to pull that off.
That's fun. Oh my god, that's such a good cover.
Yeah, no, I love doing
it. I've never heard of it. Oh.
Yeah, and like we've got our covers, we've got Susudio, we've got Holy Diver by Dio,
nice.
Mother by Danzig, Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin,
Seven Nation
Army. So we just kind of,
I'd love to see.
We're working on Sledgehammer.
Yeah, we've got a Sledgehammer by Peter. So like we can do whatever the hell we want to. And anytime we've been in a band, it'd be like, no, that's not our sound. Yeah, we can't play a fucking Phil Collins song.
I'm still trying to convince him to do Obsession by Animotion.
Yeah.
But, I'm
karaoke. It was pretty banging.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's never been a band that I've been in either that would be like, oh yeah, let's roll with that. I think I jokingly mentioned the Susudio thing.
No, I did when we were in our old band, and she let slip her deep-seated love for Phil Collins.
I mean, we all. It's like anybody.
This girl, she wears it out front. She's not
like in high school, I would bake him cakes on his birthday and celebrate. Like it was. Yeah, I'm really. When I say that I'm a nerd, I'm a nerd.
That's the best.
Him and Lindsey Buckingham. Those were the two. Yep.
Can I side note this and ask you what your favorite favorite Phil Collins song is?
Um,
Or if there are too many, favorite album. I'll let it.
No Jacket Required. I mean, I really like Take Me Home. That's a tough one.
I mean, he wrote so many hits.
Yeah, but No Jacket Required, hands down.
Hell yeah.
That's the jam for me.
Hell yeah. All right, and then getting back to this, thanks for that. Thanks for going through that with me. This next question is individual answers, and we'll start with you, Tristina.
Okay.
On a performance level, what is your favorite song to perform?
I really enjoy doing Rumpelstiltskin because it's so heavy, and I don't know. There's also the dynamics in it because it slows down and gets really intimate during a section, but it's also my Fuck the Patriarchy song, which I like because it's super empowering singing that one. So that one, I really like doing Broken because we talked about that.
Yeah.
That, it's just anything that brings out that level of rage, I think excites me. So I enjoy doing that on stage. And my least favorite song to perform is also one of my favorite songs to perform, which is weird because I really enjoy it because it taps into like real, true Tristina. Like these are my raw feelings right here, but it's also I feel so exposed and so naked.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm not good with vulnerable. I'm a rock chick.
Is that Ghost Tears?
Yeah, Ghost Tears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good song name.
My daughter actually came up with the name.
Yeah, my daughter picked the name out. Yeah. But that one, like I said, it's just I feel most authentically me singing that song, but it's also just it's terrifying. And as for performing as long as I have, it's weird to be in that spot where you're scared to be singing something up on stage.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. What about you, Ryan?
I think Burn is my favorite to play live just because it's a really strange song when you get down to the structure of the music. Like it's constantly shifting between 4 and 6 in the time signature, and there's just this whole like chaos section in the middle, but it somehow is still one of our most accessible songs, which I don't know how we
It's strange.
did that. But I don't know, it just we tend to always play it second in our set because it's like, all right, we get the first song to kind of
let everybody know,
sort of get in the groove of things, and then we'll hit them with Burn and we'll just melt their faces off.
Also, I guess one of my favorite things about that song is the first time we actually played it together, we had never actually practiced it with each other. So he didn't even know, I didn't send him a recording of my vocals. He had no idea what I was doing. Yeah.
That was we were when I was still living in Portland and she was down in Salem, so we only could see each other on the weekends. So it was just like, well, we got a show on Friday. I want to play this new song. So.
I was like, well, I've got something worked out. Let's just roll with it. And we did it.
To say the upside to being a duo is you don't have to communicate a lot of ways.
Big time. Yeah. We could never pull
we can both rely on each other to do our homework and be like, oh, I haven't picked up my instrument since practice 2 weeks ago.
That one's brutal.
Yeah, no, we won't go into it because it could be a whole episode on its own. When you show up to practice, show up having practice.
Yeah.
If your excuse every practice is that you don't have a demo to practice to, and then someone takes their time to record a demo, fucking listen to it.
Yeah. Like, make use of it. Also, it's easier that way. Like, if you don't have to warm up remembering how to play something, you have so much more time to use practice for.
Yeah, and then I don't have to sit on the ground and scowl the whole time because I'm waiting for people to get their parts correct before I can jump in. Yeah. That's a bummer.
Just look at your phone and drink. That's a good practice.
Wait,
Murmur
that's not
things
what you're
under
supposed
my
to do?
mouth.
Hell yeah. For this next question, we're going to focus a little bit more on the live setting. Before y'all go onto stage, are there any like rituals or things you do together?
Be anxious messes.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to?
Well, it's like,
It's
okay.
never doubtful. It's just like,
oh God.
all right, 3 more hours and we get to play.
We don't have a together ritual. Our separate rituals are me drinking from a flask that I brought out in the car, and his
And trying to pace yourself.
and
So
trying to pace myself so that I'm not too drunk by the time we perform. And then yours is going out and smoking.
yeah.
We-
Well, lately I've been switching to gummies at shows. It's a little more convenient. I'll eat like a 20 milligram gummy about an hour before our set.
I can't perform while high. It's not a good thing. I'm like, am I moving? I don't think I'm moving. This is bad. Drinking, I can roll with drinking.
I always have to have like a drink in me before I perform.
Yeah.
I like about like a beer and a half before I get on stage.
I always have if we're playing like for every 2 slots that we would occupy, I will have 1 beer. So if we're playing second, I have 1. If we're playing third or fourth, I'll have 2. And then after it's no holds bar.
I have to
I usually have to drive home, so that's when
not
she gets to.
He
I always have to drive home.
Yeah, I'll drive there. I'm good. I'm good. And I have to save my drink tickets for the performance, so I get 1 during the performance and then 1 following it. Yeah, I definitely have to have a drink beforehand, but I save I'm like, oh look, it has to do with us performing. So I save it. That's how I do.
Rationalize it.
Oh yeah. No, I mean everybody's got their thing at the end of the day. And then for this next one, I want to look more at like just kind of an overview. What do you all do to like continue to enhance or like change your sound to like in like a progressive matter? Like how do you like keep things interesting to y'all?
Well, I don't think we have to progress our sound at all. Like everything is, and we only have 2 tracks that are available on Spotify right now, but all of our songs, obviously it's us and you can hear that it's us and they all tie together. It's all cohesive, but we are all over the place.
I mean, we've got about 2 hours of material worked out at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've always got more ideas than I have time to flesh them out. So it's never really been an issue of like, oh, what's our next song going to be? It's like, I've already know what I want our next 3 songs to be. I just need time to write them.
And I already have like 5 songs that I've sent to him that have yet to be worked on. So it's there.
And then it's like, well, if I just write to one of the songs she's already written, then she doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Fair.
And then I go a little crazy. You're right.
Oh yeah. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Oh boy.
And these will be mostly individual answers, just kind of, and they're all made up, so the answers can be too. But we'll start with you, Ryan. If the band could share a bill with any currently performing act, who would you want it to be?
I honestly think we would do well with the King Gizzard audience.
Oh, hell yeah.
Maybe something, well, I guess the Dead Weather isn't really touring anymore. Who knows? They pop up every like 5 years. But yeah, I mean, something kind of weird.
I mean, my brother asked me this question not too long ago, and it's the Blood Red Shoes for me.
Okay.
I just really, I mean, they have their rockin' moments, they have their gothy moments, and so do we. And I think that, I mean, and they're a duo as well, except for they both play instruments. So
I guess the reason I went with King Gizzard is because they're playing like massive theaters.
I mean, that would be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I also want to. I mean, not to say that I don't have loads of respect for what they do.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy their albums and I've been to their show, but I've got
Yeah, I mean that's I guess that's what I'm saying as far as
If we went to
opportunities.
Britain, if we went to Britain, though, I bet you we could get some nice shows with Blood Red Shoes. Yeah. See? Yeah.
Well, y'all are just one plane ticket away now. I guess two, because there's two. Yeah.
Just climb into a suitcase.
Yeah, I can.
That worked in Weekend at Bernie's, right? I think it was a little easier for them for reasons.
Yeah. I could contort fairly well. I don't know. See.
All right. And then subsequently, who's a local band that y'all would want to play with this year that you haven't played with yet?
Ooh. Okay, we played with them. We played with them.
Yeah, she's the one who stays on top of all the.
It would be cool. And I'm not even saying that musically we'd be all that great with them. But I could list off 3. Hippie Death Cult would be cool.
Yeah.
Jay Graves would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Spoonbenders would have been awesome, but they moved. 40 Feet Tall.
Okay.
Once again,
Yeah.
not even like,
No,
not even the, but like,
That's a solid lineup. Like that as a show in itself with y'all.
I know,
on,
like
would
they'd be
awesome.
great together without us.
I mean,
Honestly.
Yeah,
but if we could open for you, please.
no, you can let them all just co-open for you. It's fine. No, but those are all stellar choices.
Yeah.
Everybody at them in the comments. Let's make this actually happen. All right, and then for this next one, again, this is kind of a fun one. This is a newer question. I don't get to ask this a lot. But if the band's music could be the soundtrack for a movie, what movie would it be?
Oh no. That's tough.
It'd have to be something fucking weird and kind of disturbing.
It would have to be disturbing. Like they should make a new Hellraiser movie.
I don't know if our music is dark and aggressive enough for
It doesn't have to
Hellraiser
be
though.
dark and aggressive enough. It just
Make a new Hellraiser anyway.
they need to make a newer Hellraiser. They've already made that Hellraiser. No, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, some fucked up Terry Gilliam movie or something.
okay. All right. A John Hughes film.
No, we'll do The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Oh god.
Let's do our music over that.
Even better. What's the Monkeys one? The one that Jack Nicholson directed.
Oh, geez.
Let's throw our music on top of that.
I was thinking Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so I'm clearly not in the same vein as you.
We almost watched that last night.
We watched Adventures of Babysitting instead.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Well, small correlation. That's fun. All right, and then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, and we'll do individual answer again on this one, and we'll start with you, Tristina.
Okay.
If you could add one abstract instrument to the band,
Oh, that's easy.
what would you add?
Mandolin.
Okay, that counts as an abstract instrument.
It's still, I mean, no one has really utilized it in popular music since REM. Come on. Let's be
I mean, there's a million hippie bands out there with the mandolin, but
I'm talking about with what we do though.
yeah.
And we don't do hippie. I mean, we're not a hippie band. Or what are just one of those noisemakers, the little ratchety thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they have a name. They have to.
Or those sticks. They go. We could just.
I mean, I think you should get a theremin. But
I mean, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would rock the shit out of.
You could do a cover. You could do a cover of the Doctor Who theme song if you did.
I wouldn't be above that.
All right, now if y'all covered the Doctor Who theme song, I want to shout out. That would be amazing.
we did cover the Beavis and Butthead theme song.
Oh, that's incredible.
We did a Halloween show when we went as Beavis and Butthead, and we opened with the theme song.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a moment during one of our songs, and I wasn't even paying attention to what he was doing. And then I looked up, and he has this T-shirt over his head, and I almost lost my shit.
He was just getting
had to bust out Cornholio.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones you can't leave on the table for sure. Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to in the first half of 2024?
First Grimiss LP, Hot Lunch, dropping April 26th.
Wow, that was a good promo there.
Yeah.
That was way better than I could have done. Yeah, we're playing that show at the 6 with Veratus and Bridal Veil.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, which are two of my absolute favorite Portland bands. So I'm really excited to share the stage with them.
Yeah.
And to play a show where we get to bust out some songs that we normally don't get an opportunity to perform.
Yeah.
So.
Also got a Southwest tour in the works for summer.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Where y'all thinking of going?
So, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Colorado,
Nevada,
and New Mexico.
So just ignoring the coast altogether.
Oh, we did West Coast last year.
Last 2 years we've done.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's smart to block through the country in certain steps, but like if you want to get that section there, it's really disadvantageous to try and like get across mountains and go hit the spots that
I did think, I was like, well, maybe if we popped over to San Diego, and I was like,
no. It's a whole different like energy even to like go, especially if you like dip out of part of it to go to that and come back. You just have that with you once you come back.
Yeah, you got to just kind of be in that desert mentality of, okay, we're driving 10 hours to the next city.
Yeah. Well, then, even the people, the audiences are so different in those spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Denver for 7 years. It's like that was part of the reason I left, was you just feel kind of isolated just because, it's 8-hour drive to the next major city, and even that's just Salt Lake. So it doesn't make playing anywhere other than Denver or the Front Range very easy.
No, totally. And then for this next one, go and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you. You want to say it?
no, you can say it. You did such a good job with the...
At Chris...
I take it back.
At Kiss My Grimiss. GRIMISS.
On both Facebook, Instagram, and you should...
Yeah, and she handles all the socials, so if you message us or anything, you're talking to...
me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Ooh. I mean, we also have a show on, well, that's coming up soon. That's March 1st.
On Friday.
Damn. Nope.
That's right. I mean, more like, are there any like people or groups or anybody else you would like to like put on while you're on?
Hi, Titans of Industry, you're badass.
Yeah, shout out Titans of Industry.
And who else? Who else should we shout out? We've got friends. Who are our friends?
I mean, you name dropped a bunch of groups already in the earlier questions, so like you definitely hit the mark on like covering.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Ryan.
My parents aren't gonna watch this.
Hi, Ryan's parents. You won't watch this.
Hey, my parents might watch it, so we can chat. You can shout at them if you want. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. He was gonna. That was all.
I was totally gonna shout out your parents.
I was gonna too. I was like,
hi, Jimmy's dad.
Hi, Jimmy's mom. Do you have any siblings?
Hi, parents. They won't watch this.
All right. Yeah, I think that's good.
All right. And then we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, the final question. And y'all can answer in whatever order you want, whoever comes up with it first. But what is an album you feel is on the obscure side? So it's one not a lot of people know. but it's one you think everybody should go listen to.
Can I mention two? Because one of them the group is not that obscure, which is Goldfrapp, but Felt Mountain, their very first album, gets overlooked frequently, and I think it is just the most gorgeously put together, one of the most gorgeously put together albums in all of existence. And then if I have any jazz fusion people out there, Unorthodox Behavior, Brand X. Oh.
Yeah.
So there was this super technical instrumental band out of San Diego in the early 2000s called Sleeping People. And they put an album out called Growing. That's just like, it's just mind-twistingly just crazy, just the complexity in it, but it's just driving the whole time. And they've got their moodier stuff too. But yeah, that was a band that I felt like should have been able to, I don't know, take off and be musicians, but they never really did. So that band only existed for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that album is banging.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you for that. And thank you all so much for joining us today.
You.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Tristina.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.